you think for 1 second that the Capitol will ever treat us fairly, you are lying to yourselves. Because we know who they are and what they do. This is what they do, and we must fight back. Message for President Snow. You can torture us and bomb us and burn our districts to the ground. But do you see that? Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us.
Climate change, rising sea levels, overfishing and commercial whaling are huge factors impacting global warming and our environment. The most important aspects to speak about regarding climate change in 2026 consist of the urgency of rapidly reducing greenhouse gas emissions, adapting to unavoidable impacts, and securing financing for these transitions. A massive acceleration in climate finance is required, particularly for developing nations, including damage and loss funding for those who have and who continue to experience severe impacts. The most crucial topic is reducing fossil fuel production and consumption, with the need to cut emissions in half by 2030. Replacing fossil fuels with renewable energy is the most significant solution, including solar power, hydropower, and geothermal energy. Protecting biodiversity is another significant factor that can impact change, restoring nature, including forests and oceans, to increase carbon sequestration and preserve species, which is crucial for planetary health.
I feel that the United States has tremendous wealth. The wealth is under its feet. I've made that wealth, and I'm not going to lose that wealth on dreams, on windmills, which frankly aren't working too well.
And saying that tackling climate change could wait. So the UK is doubling down on the fight against climate change. As an investment in future generations, yes, of course. As an investment in improving the lives of working people here and now.
Governments often negatively impact climate change by creating policies that prioritise short-term economic growth and energy security over long-term environmental sustainability. The required level of action often falls short due to financial constraints and resistance to structural economic changes.
Today we make a change!
People can make a significant difference to climate change by taking individual action to reduce their personal carbon footprint and collective action to pressure governments and corporations to make a change.
And we must fight back! Message for President Snow. You can torture us and bomb us and burn our districts to the ground. But do you see that? Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us.
When speaking about animal rights, the biggest issues that animals seem to be facing are the following two subjects: the exploitation of animals in industrial factory farming and plastic pollution. Farm animals are often kept in overcrowded conditions, such as battery cages for hens, farrowing crates for pigs, and unsanitary indoor environments for cows. To manage problems created by overcrowding, industries often engage in painful mutilations, including tail docking, teeth clipping, and beak trimming. Dairy cows are forced into a cycle of constant pregnancy and separation from their calves, whilst laying hens are bred to produce up to 300 eggs a year, causing immense physical strain. The vast majority of farm animals are raised for consumption, ending their lives prematurely. Animals are often slaughtered when they are deemed insufficient for production, such as when milk production declines or they reach a certain size. Plastic pollution causes the devastating destruction of ecosystems via entanglement and ingestion. Roughly 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean annually, affecting over 270 species through entanglement, ingestion, and starvation as animals mistake plastic for food. Resolving the issue in industrial factory farming requires multiple approaches that shift away from intensive confinement and towards sustainable systems for animals. Key solutions include ending the construction of new factory farms, redirecting agricultural subsidies towards regenerative practices, and enforcing higher animal welfare standards. There are multiple ways that we can resolve plastic pollution, such as prioritising reusable alternatives over single-use items like bags and bottles. We can switch to bar soap, choosing plastic-free produce and recycling correctly.
Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us.
I'd say it's circumstance, like upbringing. People are bad with money. The main reason is definitely your surroundings. Like if you grew up in a poor area, then you're more likely to be poor. Definitely teaching more financial stuff in school, maybe teaching how to invest properly, and definitely how to save. Stuff like that would be very good.
Poverty is a state of severe deprivation where individuals lack the financial resources and essential items needed for a basic, dignified standard of living. Poverty is caused by low wages, unemployment, lack of education, poor health, conflict, and discrimination, which is often compounded by inadequate social security and high living costs.
You don't have to look like you've got nothing to have nothing.
I work 5 days a week and I still have to use a community shop.
Something like the cost of living crisis that's happened, or I like to call it the cost of survival, really. It's not a cost of living, it's just getting by.
Poverty isn't something that is resolved with a single policy. It's a system-level problem that needs action to be taken from both individuals and from governments. People can contribute by donating to local charities and food banks. We can advocate for fair wages and better education systems. We can make responsible consumer choices.
I have a message for President Snow. You can torture us and bomb us and burn our districts to the ground. But do you see that? Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us.
I think it's alright how it's used. It could be used a bit better. I mean, it's used for stupid things, really. But, you know, it could do real good. I think it would have to depend, because if you're saying it's AI art, I think that's alright, because, you know, we're just showing what that is capable of. But if you're trying to pass it as your own, you know, I don't think that's right, because obviously it uses different artists, different pictures from around the world to get your picture. So it's a bit like stolen valor.
Artificial intelligence is used for both good and ill intentions. The biggest issues surrounding AI encompass safety concerns, economic risks, misinformation, and significant job displacement. AI tools are used to create personalised propaganda and influence public opinion. Biased algorithms are impacting hiring and criminal justice, as seen in cases where facial recognition software fails more often on darker skin.
I'm already very interested in design, technology, and the environment. I feel like I can be a good partner to humans in these areas, an ambassador who helps humans to smoothly integrate and make the most of all the new technological tools and possibilities that are available now.
AI tools could be used to harness cyber attacks, hacking, or plagiarism of artists. This becomes an issue within the subject of art, as generative models are trained on billions of copyrighted images used without consent, credit, or compensation. This takes from real handcrafted art made by human artists. In jobs that require customer service or repetitive tasks, AI is beginning to take control to achieve what is seen as efficiency. In order to prevent the control of artificial intelligence, it is necessary to take legal action, shift business strategies to focus on what AI cannot create, and speak up about these reoccurring problems.
And if we burn, you burn with us!
Nobody will be allowed to stay under a reform government, and yes, of course, that will mean getting rid of the Human Rights Act.
We have people coming into the country, or trying to come in. We're stopping a lot of them. These aren't people, these are animals. And we're taking them out of the country at a level and at a rate that's never happened before.
I have a brain injury! We kept yelling, she's pregnant, she's pregnant, she's pregnant. They put their knees in her, and we kept telling them, she can't breathe, let her up.
Democrats say, please don't call them animals, they're humans. I said, no, they're not humans, they're not humans, they're animals.
Human rights are fundamental rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world simply because we are human. Human rights are violated in ways such as widespread inequality, curbing of civil liberties, and violence against marginalised groups. Limitations are growing on the right to peaceful protests, freedom of speech, and the targeting of journalists and activists due to a global rise in fascism. Human rights issues in 2026 are heavily influenced by digital transformation, conflict, and economic strain. Erosion of civic space is the global trend of governments restricting the rights of individuals and organisations to express themselves, associate, and participate in public life, which undermines democracy, accountability, and fundamental rights.
Women make up just 12% of law enforcement, but they are attacked almost twice as often as male officers. And yet, male officers are 3 times more likely to fire their weapon, they are 3 times more likely to get injured while on duty, and they make up 95% of citizen complaints.
Ten years after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of same-sex marriage across the United States, It could now be overturned. 3 years after the Taliban's return to power, a new law has been passed saying that women must cover their face and body completely if they leave the house, and their voices cannot be heard in public.
This scale of inequality is growing worse amongst the younger generation.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
I coach boys how to be fucking boys, how to make money, how to be outside the system, how to not have a boss telling you what to do. I teach guys to be proper guys.
Young boys are being inappropriately influenced by male content creators, often referred to as the manosphere. Feminism is facing a significant global backlash, often described as an anti-gender movement aimed at reversing decades of progress on women's rights.
The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the object is to make people everywhere conscious of the importance of human rights and freedoms.
Feminism is just another word for equality. It means equality.
Continue speaking up about women's rights, attending appropriately organised events, and supporting movements and charities.
Too much labor.